Tottenham announcing the signing of Mo Kudus from West Ham. No, mate, you got to sit there because I got the Trent stuff. Years and years I had that stuff. So if I was a West Ham fan, I won't lie to you, Nicky, I would be disgruntled to say the least with some of the things I've heard him say, including when the doctor in his medical put the old, what's it called? This stethoscope? What's it called? Stethoscope. To his heart.
You find Spurs there.
He said, you will find Spurs there in my heart. And he's obviously said, you know, I've always... What did he say in his original video? Something like...
I only wanted Spurs.
I only wanted Spurs.
Yeah.
So why? Do you believe any of that?
I don't believe a word he says. Listen, we got all the same thing when he come to West Ham. You'll only find hammers in my... It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. and listen... What
you got hammers for?
I don't... Listen, I was not against selling Mo Kudus. Mo Kudus, to us, was about... You know, he was useless. Yeah?
Last
season was useless. There's no point... and you could tell when he scored at Ipswich in the last game of the season, I said it then and I will say it now, you know, there was no celebration, there was no sort of fanfare. He hadn't scored in a while either. He knew he was going. We knew he was going. Where we knew he was going, we didn't know. So there's no point, no matter how good they are, in keeping a player like that at your club if they don't want to be at your club, because they're useless.
I totally agree.
They're not. You know, I would rather have... I don't know, people are going to come here. I'd rather have 11 Mark Nobles running about. You know, not the greatest of talents, but are going to give their all. Yeah, I don't care how much the talent the kids got.
Give me 11 Dirk Kites.
Yes, absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. As you know, he's got all the talent in the world. He has. But if he don't want to play and he starts to throw his, his toys at the pram every time that it doesn't go his way, I didn't want to sell to Spurs. I don't think we should be dealing with Spurs.
Scott Parker was the last one.
Scott Parker was the last one 14 years ago. And we was in a championship with all the players that we sold to Spurs. And it's one of them things where, you know, why didn't I want to sell to Spurs? Because I don't think we should be dealing with it. I think it gives them the ammunition to aim at us. You know, they're always downplaying their rivalry. You know, and they're saying things to us like, "You wanted to go to a top 6 club." I'm sorry to break this to you. You were not a top 6 club. You were below us in the league, and we were terrible. Yes, I know you had injuries, but so did we have injuries. Yeah, and they keep saying we're not rivals. 7 out of the last 10 years they've qualified for Champions League football, and they have. One of them was Europa League. And this Tottenham side is not the side that had Christian Eriksen, an on-form young Harry Kane, an on-form young Son. It's not the same side. I'm sorry, but it's not.
No.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think they're showing great ambition. But 6 out of the last, 10 years, for the last 4, you've been nowhere near it. Apart from that cup, nowhere near it. Nowhere near Champions League. Yeah. And I don't think they'll be anywhere near it again next season. Unless they win the Champions League, which I don't think they will.
Do.
So, unless they make some massive signings, which they are, they're going for them. I don't think they think they've signed Messi, and they haven't. You know what I mean?
So what is your message then to Tottenham fans? Because obviously he's coming in through the door. A couple of years ago, he's probably 85 mil. You've got him on a relatively cheaper deal, 55 mil. They're excited. Obviously, they're seeing all this stuff on screen. They're thinking he's proper coys and all this.
Yeah.
What is your message to Tottenham fans?
Don't listen to a word he says. You know what I mean? He will probably start off fantastic. Yeah. But next season, if it doesn't happen, for him, and it's not going well for him, you got to remember there's Kulusevski's there as well and plays in that position at Maddison. Yeah, he, if he drops form like he did for us, he won't be playing. He ain't going to stick around. There's no way. Like, Spurs is in his heart, but don't worry. The next one that offers more money, or he can play Champions League football at, like I could see him going to an Inter Milan, someone like that. Yeah, he will be out that door quick. You know what I mean? And like, as I said to the boys at We Are Tottenham TV, when players leave your club like that, and as I said before, like, that is a dagger to the heart to the West Ham fans. I didn't stop turning up to West Ham. He stopped turning up to play. I still paid my money to watch him. He just didn't perform. And when a player like that is doing that to the fans that have supported you, don't expect any loyalty from the man. He's on his 4th club, and he's 24.
What kind of reception would he get if he comes?
He's going to get a bad one now.
Yeah.
I think when it first happened, a lot of people was not blaming him for Spurs, because He wanted to leave. We wanted to sell him, which we was all happy to do. And Spurs were the only club that came in, right? The fans didn't want him to go to Spurs because they don't think we should be selling to Spurs, right? Whether you think that's right or wrong or whatever, right? But the fans, we don't like dealing with Spurs as fans, right? The club were so desperate to get him, it happened so quick. And a lot of the fans were sort of directing their anger towards the board and saying like, well, the man wants to go. I think we could have waited a little while longer and, let another club come in and maybe would have chose them. But when you go there and you're saying, I only want Spurs, and he's putting a stethoscope on there going, you find Spurs in there, and it's just a dig. You know what I mean? And I find that classless from Mo, really, because, when you play for West Ham, you don't say that about rivals. Whether they want to believe we're rivals or not, we are London rivals. Like we're rivals with Chelsea, like we're rivals with Arsenal, like we're rivals with...
Probably about 5 miles away from each other.
Yeah. We're London rivals. And when you're saying that, when you've got, 60, 70,000 people standing there every week cheering your name and you're playing like a donkey, I think that's classless. So don't expect anything for class for him when he wants to leave. But... good luck to him, and I mean that with the greatest respect. And I know people are going to say I'm salty, but I'm just stating facts. People are saying they took their best player. You could have took anyone. He was as good as the lowest player last season. He was one of the worst. So he's no good to us in that state. So sell him. But I wouldn't have personally chosen Spurs.
And you need the money as well.
And we needed the money, yeah.
On Tottenham still, Nottingham Forest have now complained to the Premier League about Tottenham's illegal move for Morgan Gibbs-White after Spurs triggered that £60 million release clause. This is getting a bit messy now. I mean, the tapping up era, I thought we'd gone past that, but I have to admit there obviously are still some dark arts in the game in terms of, can your agent make a phone call? Can he make a little text? Because traditionally you ask for the club's permission to speak to the player. They've kind of gone round the back door and almost done it themselves. But if you're Forest, I mean, are you going to get far with this case, or do you? And if you're Tottenham, at what point do you actually just walk away?
I don't think they do walk away. This deal goes through. Man? Yeah, he's going through.
Is it going to go to court though?
Probably, but I think it'll be long after the transfer's done because it becomes. And I said this the other day.
Is this an emotional response maybe from Marinakis, who is maybe witnessing all his best players leave?
Very emotional man. You see it in the last game of last season. When he come on the pitch and he was having a go at the manager. So he's a very emotional man. I don't know the guy's character, but he seems like he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he cares and all that. And he's built a good side. Against all odds, really, because a couple of seasons before that, they was very close to going down. They've had their PSR issues that they had last season, and the season before last, and you didn't know what state the club was going to be in. They nearly got Champions League football. So, he's a very emotional man, and I just think he's one of them owners that are just not having it.